Now that I have the materials on my roof, my house is pretty much done, but I do want to add a front porch. So I'm going to add another section, another shape to my roof. And a lot of people won't have a rectangular house like this. They may have parts that stick out, and this is the way that you do that as well. You always start out by making the roof on the biggest part of your house first, the biggest rectangle that you can find in the shape, and then add on smaller shapes to that big shape. The only time you don't do that is if you have a flat roof, in which case you just trace the outside of it and push pull it and you're done. So if you have a hip roof or a gable roof, you need to add the sections that stick out onto the main part of your roof. So I'm going to go to my views and look at the front of my house and turn off perspective, which will give me a very flat view of my house, which is, this is a house elevation. An elevation is very flat. It's not a perspective. And I'm going to draw on this edge of the roof where I want my new section to go. So I'm going to use the line tool, and I'm going to draw there to there for that edge, and restart the pencil tool and come over here, and I'm just eyeballing it. I'm not being real exact. Now, these two lines weren't actually drawn. They look like they're on the roof, but because the roof is a component, these two lines are not attached to the roof, which is helpful because we don't want to screw up the part of the roof we've already done. So what I'm going to do is draw a rectangle using these two lines that I just drew as my guides. And that's going to be where my new part of my roof sticks out. And I'm going to use push-pull after I look around a little bit. I'm going to use push-pull, and I'm going to pull it out 8 feet. Now, if I triple-click that, it should select the entire box, and because this is a component, it's not actually attached to that. It's separate, so I can make this a component also. And I will call it porch roof. Now this gets a little weird because I actually need to make it go back into the house some, because if I make my roof go straight up, it won't have that same attachment to the roof on the sloped part of the roof. So what I'm going to do is edit the component, and you'll see that everything else kind of grays out. So I'm going to flip around here and see if I can select that back face. I may not be able to do it unless let me hide this component. There we go. Edit component, and then I can push-pull this back edge. And it doesn't matter how far back in the house that you go, as long as it's going to be hidden underneath the main part of the roof. So now I'm going to go to my top view, zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to draw. This is just like doing the main part of the roof. I'm going to draw the line from midpoint to midpoint, and because I'm going to make this one a gable, I'm going to draw my lines. And again, I'm just eyeballing, trying to split that into equal angles. And you don't really have to do the back part because it's hidden underneath the rest of the roof. And I'll select that and delete it. Now I'm going to raise that point, make sure it's going on the blue axis, And I need to have my other roof turned back on to match the angle, but you can see that I've got a little gable roof on the front of my house. And I will unhide all. Oh, I got to get out of component editing. That was my old gable roof. Hide. There we go. There's my hipped roof. And now I can kind of eyeball it and see if the angle of that is the same. So if I go to my front view again, it's actually pretty darn close. So now all I have to do is go back into component editing, add the same materials, and then I can put a couple of posts and a porch floor down here using a box. The porch posts can be boxes, or if you want to import something from go find a component to import. Remember, you can search the 3D warehouse for look up a column, probably get some really crazy stuff. If you want to import a column in to use, or you can import, there's a lot of other things like brackets. If you want to do some decorative items or something like that, you can do that. And once I add my porch posts in and my porch floor, I'll have a really nice little front entry. But that's how you would add the other parts of the house. If you're doing a gable front, you would do it just like you were doing the gable roof. But again, make sure it's deep enough so that the back of it is hidden underneath the main part of the roof.